King's Row is widely considered the best map in all of Overwatch 2, but what if we want to make an even better map? Well, if you can figure out what makes King's Row so special, then maybe, just maybe, we could finally create even more great Overwatch maps. Blizzard, take some notes because this game really needs it. Overall, I think that King's Row's success comes down to 4 main things, the first of which actually being the game mode. Aside from push, you may believe that the other 3 modes are equally appreciated, but this is not the case. In fact, hybrid is a fan favourite by a lot. But why is this? Eichenwalde and King's Row are probably the 2 most popular maps in the entire game, and they're both hybrid, so clearly this mode does something right. Well, I believe that it comes down to the combination of 2 modes into one. Even though neither Escort nor Assault are particularly popular, that added variety makes hybrid feel not only more exciting, but also somehow more balanced. It allows for both a wider variety of heroes to be used on different sections, but also makes the game feel more dynamic thanks to the changing types of objectives throughout the map. The jury's set on Flashpoint, so we'll have to see how popular it eventually becomes, but for now, hybrid is the best mode, and so if we want to make another candidate for best map, maybe we should consider making it hybrid as well. Okay, so that's the first part of the solve, we still have 3 more things left to investigate, and the next reason as to King's Row's popularity is simply the general aesthetic of the map. This comes down to the combination of both the amazing visual design as well as the great soundtrack. Although this may seem to be a small, almost irrelevant thing, I believe that it does actually make a difference. Obviously it won't make a map great on its own, but the general feeling that a player has towards the map can absolutely be impacted by it. And King's Row most definitely ticks all the boxes when it comes to a cool design. That dark, medieval-esque feeling that it creates is epic, and when you combine that with this incredible music, you get an aesthetically pleasing map which becomes at least slightly more popular as a result. Now, this isn't to say that other maps look bad. No, pretty much all Overwatch maps have a good design. However, some have more appealing general themes and styles than others. And although this definitely isn't the most crucial factor in the popularity of a map, if we want to make the best one, we should probably consider generally cool themes like medieval or cyberpunk, and then pick a spectacular soundtrack to match. 2 down, 2 to go, and even though the last one is likely that which pulls all the other 3 together, this next one is almost certainly the most important. Balancing in general is such a crucial part of any game, as discussed in this video, and King's Row actually does a solid job at it, unlike almost every other map. Thanks to its combination and variety of choke points and open space along its solid main path, as well as the flank routes which can provide good value while still being somewhat risky and not too difficult to defend the other team, it allows for a wide range of different characters to be played. In that sense, it pairs well with a hybrid mode, and so most players can be satisfied by the diverse pool of viable heroes. Despite this, it does actually slightly promote rush-based comps due to the Rhine Shield shaped choke points and the high ground not being overly powerful. And since that is the most popular meta in the game, the map does very well for itself in terms of what people like to play. Combine this with it not really favouring the attackers or defenders, or being pretty fair for both sides, it achieves a near perfect sense of balance which other maps struggle to even come close to. Realistically, this is the biggest reason as to King's Row's success, and although being a challenging thing to achieve, it is something that one should strive for when attempting to create a top tier map. Finally, it's time for the thing which increases the map's appeal past that which the previous things could possibly achieve: peer pressure. Okay, maybe that isn't the best way to describe it, so allow me to explain. Obviously people make their own opinions about each map, but they're also heavily influenced by the opinions of others. Nowadays, social media like TikTok or YouTube can be a significant source of such outside opinions, and this leads me on to my point. After King's Row has already cemented itself as the favourite of many, these opinions get shared online through, for example, YouTubers, and then this impacts the feelings of those who watch those videos. Since King's Row is presented as this incredible map, people who see this may also start to believe so, even though they may not have had such thoughts beforehand. Of course, this only happens after the previous 3 criteria are met, and it isn't the kind of thing that you can directly control, but I believe it to be a big reason as to why King's Row's popularity remains so strong and keeps growing with new players. And so if you're able to perfect the other 3 things, this one may just swoop in and make your map the most popular in the entire game. If it manages to be OG bias, that is, but that's a discussion for another video. So, what have we learned? Well, if we want to make another elite map, we need to consider 4 main things, or really 3. First, we get a cool general theme and design paired with a spectacular soundtrack. Then we choose an exciting mode like hybrid, and finally we focus on perfecting the balance as much as possible. Then hopefully, the map's popularity grows, this excitement gets shared online, and this feeling resonates throughout a huge portion of the player base. Well, now we know how to make an incredible map, it would also be helpful to know how to not make a terrible one. And what better way to figure that out than looking at the worst map in the entire game. In this video I do just that, so you don't want to miss it. I'll see you there.